Broadcasting to the Gumbo Nation for over 6 years. Providing education and options to listeners throughout the Gulf Coast and across the nation. Mortgage Gumbo is brought to you live weekly by the Total Home Authority, Team Title, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Solar Alternatives, TWFG Biden Cough Insurance Group, The Fence King, Mosquito Joe, and 360 Home Inspections. Mortgage Gumbo is the leading authority for all things home-related. So let's spice up that bowl of mortgage awareness with the man who is high in mortgage knowledge, yet height and hair challenged. The man who only knows how to put the client first. The true definition of a face for radio. Leader of the Gumbo Nation, Dwayne Stein.
What's cooking, Gumbo Nation? You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein, right here on iHeartRadio, and I'm your host, Dwayne Stein, the Gulf South Mortgage Authority. Hey, if you want to join the show, several ways. Call 504-260-0995, or you can shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. Also, check out all the social sites, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Mortgage Gumbo TV. They're out there. So check us out there. Wrapping up another incredible month for Team Mortgage Gumbo. Another 60-plus families helped this month, so super excited. Plenty of those. For all those who are saying, hey, the refinances have dried up, that's incorrect. And, man, have we seen a resurgence in the refinance with these rates where they are, which we'll get into when we do our weekly segment brought to you by Tito's called Rate Watch later on. But first, well, on the show today, listen, I'm going to answer emails. Right? I'm going to get into some emails, going to go over some numbers. You know I love stats. There's nothing more than me breaking down facts over what I see numbers. And the beauty of this is, hey, it's my show, so it's my opinion. But based on how much the Gumbo Nation is growing, I think many of you agree, obviously. And I just appreciate the folks who call every week. I had 2 calls this week where people just called to say thank you. Didn't need any help, but just love listening to the show. Big fans of the show and appreciate the education that we are giving out there. Now, with that being said, and I called her. Had a nice lady from Baton Rouge who called in and told me that me saying Dad Cam, I sound like I had mad cow disease. So I thought that was comical. I called her. We laughed through it. She said it was the first time she'd ever heard the show, but liked the information. So, hey, we'll take it. We take our fans however we can get them. That's for sure. So, like I said, on the show today, we're going to answer emails. We're going to talk rates, all that. But let's start here. What do you call it? The silver slipper, the last minute, the midnight hour. The eviction ban. Landlords, if you're just waking up, I apologize. But the federal government, just when you thought maybe some things, they'll keep their nose out of some things and let things kind of keep moving forward. Well, eviction ban has been approved or pushed back to now September 30th. So I guess if folks haven't been able to pay their mortgage for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, those next 2 months are going to give them some opportunities to get caught up. We at least hope so. And they're starting to talk about, hey, they'll give the landlords vouchers that, once they do go back, they'll give them vouchers that'll help them with some reduced cost and maybe some money to fix up the place. I mean, I just don't know where it stops. I really don't. And I think at this point you're seeing a lot of I'm starting to the folks I know that do own property, it's now gotten beyond the point where they're worried about, when you make things an income stream. Well, it's great when it's an income stream and people are paying rent. But when they're not, there's not a whole bunch of people who can put their house note plus a couple investment properties because different things aren't being paid. And I can tell you this, chances are the investor, they're going, hey, what's going on here? So that eviction ban has been extended. So I think you're going to see some houses come on the market. I think there's some landlords who, the ones I talk to, are just fed up, and the only way to beat it, and like I told you, I mean, it's I've had friends do it, is, hey, you know what? I'm selling the property. So, sorry, you got to get out. So, look, I'm all about making sure if folks have some different things, that reason why they're behind, or if you're at least, I don't think there's a landlord out there that if somebody is going, hey, listen, let's make some arrangements, and showing good faith is not working with them. What about them? If they're financially capable to do that, right? So are they supposed to lose everything so they can give stuff away? That's where not frustration, because that's why I got out of the rental business years and years ago. Because you got people who are living in your place. They know the rules better than I did. I mean, these people, that's a whole different story. You got squatters' rights. You got a whole bunch of things out there that, many folks aren't aware of. So that has been extended. So keep an eye on that. We'll see what we're doing in regards to, where that's going to go through the end of September. And, I don't see when we're looking at that, it's going to be something that is going to be pushed up. I think, if anything, it'll be pushed back. So keep an eye on that. But that is the push, is to get that extended through September. So we shall see. Keep an eye on that, right? So everything I'm reading shows that they asked for it, Pelosi and all them, and it looks like the midnight deal is getting done, as that is supposed to expire tonight, being pushed back. So keep an eye on that. What else we are looking at is this week, had a great week with rates, okay? Powell spoke. And guess what? Said we're keeping federal funds rate at 0. Okay? Keeping federal funds rate at 0. Now, I want to reiterate what that means. Federal funds rate is what banks lend to banks. Those are short-term interest rates. Those are your credit cards, your auto loans. Okay? Very short-term interest rates. Those are not your mortgage rates, which are considered long-term rates, right? 15, 20, 25, 30, that's a long time to recoup. So I want to make sure when people are listening to this, every time he talks, I like to just reiterate, when you're talking about the federal funds rate, it is something that it is what banks are lending to banks at. Not if you call Mortgage Gumbo and say, I need a mortgage, because I get it all the time. Hey, do you have 0% rates? No, that's not what it is. It is not the same. Now, with that being said, we are seeing, and we've talked about this, right? World strife, anything like that is what causes interest rates to go down. So this week, when he spoke, we saw interest rates tick down a little bit when he said it would. Even though it has nothing to do with it, it put everybody at ease. Whereas last month when he spoke, he just mentioned the word tapering, and the rates went up. Big time. So that is good there. Now, this week, you're going to get COVID data, right? The jobs reports are showing more people going back to work. That is something that should be raising rates. But it's not, because they're now selling this Delta variant, this COVID, it's back around, right? So This week, they're going to come out with that. So there's going to be data on that. So me, from my standpoint, I have to believe. And it's just a numbers game, right? I mean, that's it. I used to call it the do theory when I was playing golf. I mean, I just hit 60 bad shots. This shot here, when I would stand over it, I'd be like, you got to be due to hit one. So with the rates, they got to be due to start trickling up a little bit. I got to feel like they've somewhat matured, meaning they're at where they were. I mean, we're talking about where they were last year. So at some point, things have got to kind of change direction, in my opinion. So we just need to see. So this week, we'll keep an eye, and then I'll be back next week to tell you, hey, here's what the data said. If the data is a lot worse than what you think, you're going to see rates stay where they're at, maybe go down a little bit. If the data is better than what you think, which is a catch-22 for the Fed, right? Because if we're talking about extended moratoriums, if we're talking about the federal government wants to give you stuff, right? And some of us are like, hey, let us just do it on our own. And whatever your political beliefs are, that's fine. I'm not here to argue that. The one thing I know is everybody wants their own roof over their head. And that's what my job is to do. That's why I keep up with this, and that's why I sort of get my opinions on where this is going. So it's a catch-22. Because if they give good data and things are getting better, well then, hey, the mask mandates, all these things that they're starting to talk about again go away. But if they're not, then what? I mean, are we heading back to a fall of virtual learning? I mean, these are things that are starting to be thrown on the table, and it's scary. And there people are like, you know what? I'm not listening to it. I'm not dealing with it. I talked to a restaurant owner who is doing everything they can to stay afloat. And if this happens again, they're done. And it just really stinks. Hey, on the other side of the break, we're going to chat about existing homes versus new homes. Where are they heading? Interesting data there. You are listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein, right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Nice. I like that, Porcine. Coming with the hard stuff, dude.
Hey, man, where were you seeing that story? Because
I got something that came across last night.
Yeah, but they had a vote like before they went for recess.
Yeah, they did, and it said it wasn't going to be extended, but then they said that it's going to be a write-in or something I got, so.
Everything I'm seeing said basically.
Okay.
I'm looking at stuff from like hours ago saying that it's going to end. So
all right, well.
I'm just going to take that part out of the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
There could be something done possibly at a local level, but
yeah,
I mean, Congress had to do it, and
hey, no, I'll bring it. No, that's I appreciate you bringing it up. I'll when we come back, I'll say, hey, listen, we got they went to recess and it didn't get done, so that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Welcome back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo. If you want to join the show, 504-260-0995, or you can shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. Hey, just want to go back and kind of talk about that moratorium, the eviction moratorium. Listen, it does expire tonight. What I was kind of alluding to and talking about was what they're discussing, right? The House, the Senate, whatever it is, Congress, whatever you're calling it, they left last night without a vote. But that is what's being pushed through. Now, with that being said, check with your local government because a lot of folks are stepping in doing their own thing. You got states out there that are saying, hey, we're not allowing it. You got some that are saying they will. So I just want to make sure I was clear there. My producer extraordinaire, Jeremy, pointed that out. So just want to make sure. Y'all know, hey, want to keep it real. Make sure my explanations, I know sometimes I talk a little weird, but I want to make sure that you are getting the correct info. So new homes versus existing homes. So here's something that I think is pretty cool. And existing homes for months, those existing home sales had been on the decline. Well, now we're starting to see existing home sales, meaning it's a used house, right? It's not new, right? You gotta so in existing home sales, we're starting to see or spiking up, and whereas new home sales have slowed a little bit, and a lot of that has to do with the lumber costs and the ability to just get things, right? I mean, man, I was in Dollar General this week, and the guy in front of me, who is a pool guy, said he cannot get chlorine anywhere. So he is literally having to mix stuff together because I guess the ingredients. So you start kind of thinking, about that. So, and by the way, while I was in Dollar General, you can't go to Dollar General without going through the dollar aisle. They had pregnancy tests for $1. I don't know if that's something you want to, get the deal of the century on. I mean, I didn't look to see. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that stuff, but I didn't look to see if it was one of those open box items or something like that. But you're looking at, I think, when you talk about new home sales, well, lumber, right? Even though it's come down, it takes these builders a little bit to start getting cranked back up. And then these builders also want to make sure that, am I going to be able to get my dishwasher? Am I going to be able to get my fridge? All those things that we talked about, right? All the things that they say, hey, this is going to come with the house, this, that, or the other. Because we talked about, Intel said it's 2023 before they could even see themselves getting caught up with manufacturing chips. And you go, well, who cares about microchips? Well, everything's smart these days. So everything requires something with a chip in it. But new home sales, we're seeing, is up. And I think that's a good thing. I think that has to do with rates. I think that's the folks who over the last year or so have fixed up their house. They've come to the realization that it's not their forever home. And they're like, you know what? We can get top dollar, and then we could go buy something that will be our forever home. So it'll be interesting, and I'm sure there'll be a stat or something out there to see from an age group, right? That's what I'd like to see is the existing homes that are being sold, what is the age group? What's the median age group that's selling those? I would probably say it's a little bit older because they're probably heading into their forever home, right? Their retirement home, so to speak. A couple other things here. So if you remember in March, we started talking about second homes and investment properties and how the Fed, who buys all the loans right now, mortgage-backed securities, I think I'll do a piece on that soon. Just what is a mortgage-backed security? I think y'all deserve that. Hopefully I can lay it out to where y'all could understand it. But mortgage rate locks for second homes and investment properties has fallen 11% year over year. And that all comes down to the Fed was getting ahead of, they wanted to make sure they were getting ahead of what you saw in 08, 09, 2010, where people out buying investment properties and they couldn't pay for them. So they locked down on this where they raised the rates. They came in and said, instead of us buying 15% or more of these, we're going to be between 7 and 9%. That's a lot. That's a lot. So that's why when you're calling me for an investment property and you go, well, hey, Joe Blowbank will do it for 20% down. Well, we will too. But if you do it for 25%, I'm able to show people why the rate is 1/4 to 0.5% cheaper. See, the schmuckatellis out there don't tell you that because they're not in it for you. They're in it for their bottom line. But you're seeing that. So that's a big thing. Down 10% is huge when it comes to investment properties and rentals. So, again, they're skyrocketed right now. Hey, I'm heading to Orange Beach after the show today, and, it's absurd. A hotel room that a couple years ago you maybe paid during this time of year $199 is going for $500. Now I'm using the miles and all that fun stuff, but at the same time, my goodness, it's out of control. Out of control. Asking prices for newly listed homes was up 12%. Again, this is data that supports what I just said on why existing home sales may be slowing a little bit. Maybe people have had enough, or they could go buy that existing home sale. But listen to this. 52% of homes that went under contract had an accepted offer. Okay, this is in June. Had an accepted offer within the first 2 weeks on the market. Okay, that's above 44% same time last year when it was 2020. 38% of homes went under contract within 1 week. That's up from 32%. Now, listen to this. Sorry, folks. I didn't even drink last night. Maybe I need to. That's the problem. 55% of homes listed sold above list price. That's up 29%. 55% of homes above ask price or list price. So what I want you to understand there is your bargaining power, your negotiations is very, very limited. You have to know your buying power, right? And, of course, listen, it's through the roof. Snap, send, and save, Dad Cam. Click on purchase, and we're doing the fast tracks. But I've also created, and if you're interested, whether you're a realtor, just a listener, part of the Gumbo Nation, shoot me an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com, and I will send you. I have put together sort of the recipe of what I think are the things you need to know when you're going in and how to win in this environment right now. How you're going to win that home. And so I put that together, so it's very, very nice, very easy to read, all on one sheet. And I call it kind of the recipes. It's part of the, going with the Mortgage Gumbo theme. So it's basically a line by line on what to expect and how to win. So realtors, if you're interested in that, or just listeners, shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. Because I realize that your bargaining, it's lower now than it ever has been. There's now agents who are opening houses up from 12 to 2 on a Wednesday for 2 hours. And then they're taking all offers by the end of business that Thursday. I mean, that's crazy. So what if you're working? What if you can't get there? Are you to trust a family member or your agent to go, oh, my gosh, maybe they walk through it and do a virtual? A lot of that started up last year. But that's why you've got to know what your buying power is. So then you could go in strong with that offer. Because it's a catch-22. Well, I offered more than what they were asking. Well, what was that number? Well, I went in $2,000 over. That's not going to work. Great friend of mine lost the house, went in $5,000 over. Call me. I have a bid over ask. I have something, a tool that I could show you. If you're in a position where you can't afford to come out of pocket outside of what we're lending you on the money, on the lending side, if you're in a position you can't afford that, get with me so we can make sure that we are letting you know, hey, if you go over 10, 15, 20 grand, if you're financially available to capable of doing that, we let you know based on historical data how quickly you'll recoup your money. How great is that? More to come. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. Rates on the other side of the break. 504-260-0995.
Do you want me to tell you in your ear when you have a caller or text?
You could, heck, I'm sorry. I had it on Facebook, man. No, is he still on the phone?
He's still there. I'll let you know if he's still there when we get back from the break.
Perfect. That'd be awesome.
Said, like, I never thought I'd get a mortgage, and y'all guys help me out. So
please bring them on. Text me, but then hit me in the ear, kind of. You know what I'm saying? That way I kind of see what it's about. Thank you, bro. About to throw this Nest thermostat out the window, bro.
I don't know, man. May have a tough time with it being so hot out there.
Yeah. I mean, it does what it wants, bro. I mean, like, I have a schedule set for this thing to turn on and get freezing cold. So when I come in, I'm a sweater, so, but it tells me, no, it'd rather be in eco mode, saving me money. You know what I mean? Like, so it's so hard.
It doesn't want to see you sweat when you open up that power bill.
Right. Yeah. So then it lets you lower it, but then it tells you it's in eco mode, so it tells you it'll get down to that in 2.5 hours. That way it could kind of, I'm like, my gosh, I just want to get cooled off.
Surround yourself with all those Dyson fans all around.
I know. Believe me, I got one right on me here. I don't want to blow so loud it buzzes up the mic.
He is still there if you want to come to him right out of the break.
Absolutely. We're back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995, or you can shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. Little bit just to say, hey, disclaimer here, I have a day job. That's where I lend and help folks. Just like you who's listening, I can help you. All you got to do is visit snapsendandsave.com or call me at my day job. We always have folks standing by. 504-207-7600. Let's go to the phone lines. Dwayne, how can we help you?
Hey, good morning, Dwayne. Sorry about my voice is bad.
Oh, man,
Dwayne,
what's
I really
going
got
on?
to sing your praises, man. You're so right. Your day job, cross-country mortgage, and your people. Me, I was in a situation that, I thought I couldn't get out of. I thought I'd never be in a home because of a past situation.
Yep.
And also it was a very unique deal that I was involved in. And your team, and I went to Snaps and Save, Dave, Dwayne, and I snapped, I sent, and I saved big money.
Yep.
I closed yesterday on a house yesterday afternoon into our forever home. And you personally called back. Your team calls back. This is not just, I don't think this is just a radio show where people, oh, yeah, it's just a radio show.
Right.
He's hyping it. So in less than a month, I went from this will never pass, this is a long shot Hail Mary, into signing for my mortgage yesterday afternoon because of you, because of Mia, and because of your entire team.
Yep.
And you took my interest rate down 2 full points, and stuff that you see on the internet, like Due Day USA for veterans.
Right.
So they wouldn't even give me the time of day.
Yep.
And you called back and you said, Dwayne, what's up? And I told you what's up. And we went to work from there. And we signed a mortgage yesterday.
Man, I'm proud of you because, look, you had some challenges in the past, right? I mean, we're not going to get on to them. And,
no, that's right.
But you know what? I don't like to take no for an answer, and I'm going to uncover every stone because, and I appreciate you saying that because, I do talk to everybody, and it is important. And you calling in, man, thanks. You don't have to do that, but I really appreciate it because there's
Dwayne,
nothing more important, right, than being a homeowner, my man.
No, there's nothing more important. I mean, my youngest son, now we always have his friend at home. When we graduate high school, it's a status thing, but I think that I thought there's no way I'm getting a mortgage, not with Discord, not with anything like that. And then I turned it over to you and your team, and in your average, we hit within your average, and I had multiple challenges for your team to overcome.
Yep.
And Mia and you and everybody.
Yep.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dwayne.
No, man, thank you, bro.
People need to believe that. People need to believe that you are real, and what you do in your daytime job is real, and you make it happen.
Thank you, bro.
So,
hey, and we closed. Hey, and to throw in that, we closed 2 weeks before your contract date, right? We got the sellers to let you move in early, my man, right?
And I thought I was going to closing to present a check, and I walked away with closing. No, here's a check for you.
Yep, absolutely, man. Thank you, Mr. D. I appreciate that so much, my man. Means a ton, and I'll follow up with you this week as well, buddy. But I appreciate the kind words. Thanks so much, and hey, thanks for trusting us and hanging in there and believing in us because listeners, a lot of times, and I'm not going to get into Mr. Dwayne's story, but so many times folks don't understand when we tell them, hey, here's this, we've got to do this, and folks almost want to give up, and we kind of got to let them know, or what's the first thing you do when you don't know something? You kind of want to poo-poo all over it and go like, oh, it's not going to happen, or you want to give up, or the proverbial, they're running me through the ringer, why do you need all this, and all that, and, what I love is his story. Like I said, we won't get into it, but, we fought and we got that done for him, and that's what is awesome. That is what I love, helping the 800 FICO scores get the $1.5 million house. They got to put down $600,000 and getting them closed in 20 days. I love those. But these are the stories of what makes me get up every morning. This is what makes me, for almost 7 years, get up so I could come share with you, because if it makes a difference to someone like him who now has a home for his son,
Matthew and Metairie,
for graduating and and all that, that is a big deal. So we got another call. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Matthew and Metairie.
Matthew and Metairie. What's up, Matthew? How we doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I think we're heading closing on Monday. Mia did call me up with some very strange thing. She wanted to get some other confirmation that I really was working where I said I was working at for all these years, and wanted to talk to my direct supervisor, which was kind of bizarre, but okay. I tried to hook that up. Don't know what actually happened, because my direct supervisor is actually on vacation. My manager was going to a funeral.
Yeah.
Like,
well, what happens is
what
happens is, Matthew, and I appreciate you, man. Always been a listener of the show, and I know we've had the opportunity to work together. And just so everybody knows, and this is one of the rules, when you're getting approved, then we have to do a verbal verification. We've got to do a verbal verification of your employment. So what happens there is, we've got to speak to a supervisor, somebody that maybe you're a direct report to, or if you don't necessarily have an HR department or something like that. So that's what Matthew was talking about. He's super awesome, great guy, and look forward to that. So that's really good there. Enjoy that. But to kind of go back, and one of the things, I've got a situation right now, but what I'm doing is I'm getting everybody involved. There's a situation. The guy's a vet, right? And we're trying to work through, and there's some look.
He dropped.
The veterans sometimes when you have this, maybe something's misput on a form, and when you're going through VA loans, there's a lot of extra steps, and the key is, though, you got to get those agents involved. So, we've got something that came over yesterday that wasn't what we thought. So, hey, today, while I'm driving out to the beach, I'm going to be calling these agents on a Saturday, letting them know exactly what's going on. Hey, let's get into our weekly segment we like to call Rate Watch. Rate Watch is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. It's America's first handcrafted vodka. Last week, 2.87 on a 30-year, 2.84 today. So that's no real movement. Again, it's going to come down to when are you getting locked, floated. I had somebody ask me this week, well, hey, we locked them in, and they're like, if rates go lower, can we get lower? Sure you can. But with that being said, you don't want to incur charges, and most of the time when we're locking you in, your rate's as low as it's going to get, because this is what we do for a living. So it's not like you're going to see a 0.25% drop. You're looking at tenths of a basis point. So you're not going to see that. If it does, then sometimes we'll come back and go, hey, for another 0.25% of discount, we can get you down another eighth or something like that. 30-year, 2.84. 15-year, 2. My gosh, I had to reread that. 2.25 on a 15-year. FHA 2.50, Jumbo 3.02. Wow. 5-1 arm 2.35 on an arm. And I don't have time today, but there's an article that got written and it bothers the heck out of me. The almost irrelevant mortgage loan type that still works. No, it don't. I'll cover that next week before I get on a soapbox and miss everything. And VA, mid-2s, low-3s, depending on is it an IRRRL, which is just a rate term refinance, or a cash-out refinance. So the 15-year, I want to make sure that people are understanding. We talked about this a while back. Don't go chasing a number on a piece of paper. You know what? I've got a story that I'm going to share with you that happened this week from somebody that went to Snap, Send, and Save. We'll cover that on the other side of the break. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995.
You'll have plenty of time out of this next break. I think it's about 13 minutes.
Okay.
So,
perfect. Thank you, bro.
if you want to go into detail on your story, feel free.
Good. And hit me with the 2-1-30 and all that fun stuff.
Oh, I've got notes in the log to remind me of that. I think normally you would pimp Rick's, but it is a best of today, so I don't know if you're going to do that or not.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
You can still say he's coming up next. I mean, the show's there.
We are back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. If you want to join the show, still got a segment left, 504-260-0995. Or, hey, give me a call doing my day job, 504-207-7600. If you got any lender questions, we're always got somebody on standby. Or you could visit Snap, Send, and Save. Dadcam. Snap, Send, and Save. Dadcam. And the home away from the show. Geez, shameless plugs. Mortgage Gumbo, Dadcam. So, hey, if you missed earlier, had a lady call me this week and tell me when I say Dadcam, sounds like I got mad cow disease. So, if that's what mad cow sounds like, then, hey, must be awesome. So, let me discuss. We just started going over rates, right? And I mentioned that rates are on a 15 at 2.25. So, this week, had somebody come through, Snap, Send, and Save. And when you go to Snap, Send, and Save on a refinance, it's going to ask you for your most recent mortgage statement. So we can look at rates. It's going to ask you what you think the value of the home is. It's an estimate, right? It's just a guide for me and you to have conversations. And when we're looking at this, I had a client this week, and I pull up his, first thing I always do is I go look at it, and while I'm a guy that does not sell interest rate, my team is educated. We are mortgage advisors. We are not lenders. We are mortgage advisors. And what that means is my job is to present options to you. Now, sometimes you may want a 15, but you don't qualify. So I'll tell you why that option is not available to you. But I always go in, and the first thing I sort of look at is, all right, what's their rate and what is the purpose of the loan, right? And this week, one of the things they wanted to do was cut term, okay? So with them wanting to cut term, we're looking at them wanting to cut. You know what? Let's go to James in Bell Chase. You got a question? Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Good, buddy.
I have a question about my interest rate for I have a loan through Navy Federal. I couldn't get the veterans loan because I was a National Guard and I didn't qualify with the points or something to get that loan. But they do offer a veterans loan through them only. It's with their interest. I didn't have to pay a PMI, but their interest rate was I think I have a 4.2 interest rate.
Yeah.
And this was just about 8 months ago when the interest rates were real low. But they said I couldn't get a better interest rate because I don't pay PMI.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, what they did was they probably gave you some kind of, FHA loan or something. Maybe they did in-house. But did you have to put down any down payment or anything?
No, I didn't put anything down.
Yeah, so they gave you a grant. They just gave you one of their a grant or a bond program, Jeremy,
Mm-hmm.
and James. So and they it's got PMI on it, man. So one of the things I would look into is, number one, let's look at the points thing, because sometimes I had one where they were telling me a guy was off, and again they miscalculated the points. So we go in and we looked at it, and they had him off by 1 or 2 points, not qualifying, and he did, and it made a big difference. So let's look at it. What I would want to do is we could more than likely, we can get that lowered for you. So do me a favor, man. Go to snapsendandsave.com, and then let's chat at the beginning of next week and kind of look at what your situation is, bro, and let's see if we can help you out, man.
Okay, man. Appreciate your help.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it, bro. So, all right, so when you're looking at – I look at what's the interest rate and what do they want to do. And one of the choices are cut term, right? Lower payment, cut term. Well, so you got simple questions here, right? And it asks us what's the value of your home, and then I could see what the balance is when I'm looking at the statement, right? So there's simple questions that I'm going to ask, right? So, for instance, James, I would ask, hey, are you a veteran, right? All right, good. Send me over a copy of DD-214. That's probably what he did. We'll find out, hey, is it short, not short, go from there. But this particular person, all right, and he's a school teacher, wife's a school teacher, okay? Their daughter is in their last semester of college at Louisiana Monroe. So, are you a veteran? No. Here's the very next question, okay? Is this your forever home? And you'd be amazed at how many people will go absolutely right off the bat if it is, or not sure. So then we got to look at, all right, well, what's your age, right? If you're 58 or is different than being 79, right, if it's your forever home, right? It's not a fix and flip if you're 79. So this particular client, 53 years old. So my next question is, it's a simple one that all these other schmuckatellis do not do, and it's, what's got you wanting to cut your term, right? Something made you go to Snap, Send, and Save. Now, I send out subliminal messages. The crystals do all that, my daily, all my, affirmations. But I'm not, subliminally, I don't think I'm just popping into your head and you go on Snap, Send, and Save.com. So you heard it from somebody or there's a reason, right? That's why I get these magazines all the time. Man, you want to advertise this and that? No. Because I'm right next to the person that's buy a hamburger, get a hamburger. Somebody don't wake up today and go, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to buy a house. I'll call this dude. So when I asked, why do you want to cut term? My neighbor just did a refinance with you, gave me the neighbor's name, blah, 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 15-year, and is in the mid-2s. Tells me who it is. Oh, cool, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But I immediately said, well, what are your goals? And while I'm not going to get into the neighbor's personal stuff, their goals were not even close to the same. Not even close. So you start talking about, I asked, do you have any debt? I got about $25,000 in debt, $10,000 left on a car. So I kind of, all right, I'll circle that. I'm not too worried about that. Another $15,000 in credit cards, tuition, apartment, last year and a half of college at ULM, going into management, all that fun stuff, okay? So anything around the house you'd like to do? Well, sure, like this, like that. Meaning kitchen, master bath. Now, Home's worth $350, owes $175. So quite a bit of equity there. Quite a bit of equity. Okay? Now, you can only lend up to 80% on all programs. So if somebody tells you, oh, I could give you 85 or 90%, no, they can't. That's a line of credit. That's different. So when you're looking at it, we started talking about some different opportunities. And he's 5 years into a 30-year. And the fact is, while he's sitting right now with a 3.125, it's awesome rate. That's solid. Told somebody this week, I'm like, can't help you. He's like, I can't believe you're telling me that. Like, I guess good, thank you. I'm like, yeah, if anybody else tries to sell you something, they're just trying to put a number on a piece of paper. You don't need a mortgage. But for this particular person, there's some things that want to get done. So now what you got to understand is, what's more important, that number on a piece of paper that when you go try to buy bread and milk, they say, it doesn't matter, I still need money? Or now we can increase home value by fixing up kitchens, getting master bedroom up, and they're only 5 years into a 30-year. And right now, 30, a 25, and a 20-year term are all about the same. So I presented the 15-year because that's what he liked and wanted to see that option. But with the cash and everything, his payment was going up $450 a month. Well, you know what? That's not as good as, then we looked at the no cash out option, right? Payment was still going up $350 a month. Lower rate, but not getting what you want. So then we looked at the 30, giving him cash, paying the same thing he's paying now, right? It's going to say 30 on paper, but paying the same payment that you're paying right now in the principal and interest, their 30-year term was really 23 years. So now we're cutting 2 years. Then with the bi-weekly, it was getting them down to 21, 20 and a half, something like that. So, listeners, Gumbo Nation, whether you're working with me, it's got to be about you. If you call somebody and go, this is what I want, and you're just starting the process or you're not sure, then you may come into some different issues there. Be concerned. Because my job is to advise you. Not just to take what you say and go from there. A lot of times we have to, as advisors, sort of protect you from yourself. This is a crazy world we're in right now. And we don't know what the future holds, right? But I want to make sure that you always have a roof over your head. So whether that's fighting tooth and nail, like we did for Mr. Blanchard earlier, or with Matt to get their getting their stuff done, or advising you on why this is better. Why a 30-year doing it this way is better than a 15. That is our job. Now, ultimately, if he would have said, nope, I want the 15 regardless, I'm cool with it, okay. But then I've done my job as an advisor. And that's what you deserve, Gumbo Nation. That's why we created SnapSendAndSave.com. You deserve that. It's your house we're talking about. Had a bad day? Do you want to go hang out at somebody's apartment? Or do you like to go to your home, right? Where you know where everything's at. In veg. Had a great day. Can't wait to get home and celebrate with my family. Nobody says, man, can't wait to get out of here and go hang out under a bridge.
1 minute.
Or on a street corner. It's another week of Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein in the books. Gumbo Nation, we love you. Be safe. I'm going to go take a couple days on the beach. Be looking for me. Be in a sexy Speedo, because that's how I roll when I'm on the beach. It ain't pretty, but it's me. Stay tuned for Winning at Life. Hall of Fame financial advisor Gregory Ricks and his sidekick James Parker's coming up next.
30 seconds.
And until next week, Gumbo Nation, keep stirring the pot.
You're clear.
All right.
Go get your Speedo.
Yeah.